In a minute we're going to get into some groups and have a look at what you've learned about students from other cultures and what we've learned from the stories that we've been doing this term.
Well, it was great to engage with the Australian curriculum, and I looked at the academic areas of English and history, but it's the first time I really delved into the general capabilities. So I looked at literacy, intercultural understandings, personal and social competence, and ICT. The intercultural understandings, I wanted to develop emotion and empathy through the cultural aspects, and the personal social competence was interwoven in all of our group tasks that we did. The ICT really added an area of interest and excitement for the children because we brought new eye touches for our essential question, which was what can we learn from other people's stories. So we did a lot of work on getting the children to be trained up in interviewing skills, understanding the difference between fact and opinion, and understanding what it was to look at things from different perspectives. So we had those underlying skills before we tackled some of our stories. Yeah, we were doing a lot of work on the area, but occasionally we'd start to go off at a tangent, and I would be thinking, our question was, what can we learn from other people's stories? Kept coming back to that, and that focused us back on the deeper learning. Well, earlier in the term we'd worked on expositions, and I noticed that their writing lacked some emotional depth, whereas that really changed in writing, the writing they did this time. There was real connection to the text. They were talking about their lives, their families, things that they'd learned from the stories of their own families and from the stories we read. And they started to notice things like the similarities in people from other cultures, the respect that was required for people from other cultures, and it really started to come out in some examples in their work. Students of all different abilities were able to write with a deeper connection. Well, I'm not sure I can stop it, but I'm aware of it, and it's about getting the balance right. And that sometimes you can rush through content, particularly around NAPLAN testing time, rather than always establishing that deeper understanding. The group work was really good, discussion, working in groups, and the ICT too. We're looking as a school to purchase some iPads with some really useful apps that we've come across, particularly in regards to comprehension. One of the things I'd really like to get into is really understanding these essential questions. I think if you can get a really good question, it almost programs for you. You look at the misconceptions, you look at the skills the students need to learn, and it really makes the program have a lot more depth for the children and brings out their understanding to a much deeper level. Generating a really good essential question can really develop a great program. No one teacher can do it on their own, but working together, I think you can really develop some very powerful questions which can lead to some really powerful learning.
Okay, I think the teachers' engagement with the Australian curriculum, particularly around the general capabilities, has shown me a different depth to their teaching. It's been really heartening for me to see them and to hear them talking about things like deepening the learning for students and engaging them with ICT, making them critical thinkers. I think that's exciting to hear as a leader. You want teachers to be thinking about that, and certainly that's what you want students to be doing. So they've been very reflective about their practice, and I think it's really had huge benefits for the kids.